Hey, I really hate to disappoint y'all, but we're not going to get into my life story or none of that. We're going to get right into gain staging. Now, whether you have a real simple system like we're going to use here today, or you have a real complicated one with lots of different components, you absolutely must have proper gain staging through all the equipment. If you don't, you're going to run into nothing but problems all through the show, all through everything. If it's in your studio, you're going to have nothing but problems. Nothing's going to sound right or work right. It's all about having a good signal flow through your equipment so it can operate properly. All right, let's look at what we've got as a system. Very simple, starting from the source mic. It's coming into channel 1 on the board. It then goes to this DBX drive rack, and then goes to BB Maxcom, out the back, and over to these powered speakers. There's 2 different scales being used in this system. So on the inputs of this board, because it's digital, you can see right here, this is DBFS. It tops out at 0. Now if we go over here, we can see our mains are coming out dBu, and it goes to +10 on this. So we're using 2 different scales. So if you see 2 different levels coming up, that's why. And if you don't understand those 2 scales, go look those up. Important stuff to know, but we're concentrating on gain staging right now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get going with some levels here and see how the system's set up right now. So you see our decibel meter there and our main outputs, and you can see the level coming in on the far left. That's dBFS. Output is dB. So we have a 10 dB difference between the 2 different scales on this board. We got good signal coming in. Faders at unity. Masters at unity. Here's our readings. Level coming in on the far left, dBFS digital. Metered on the right for our main outs. Coming in right at 0 now. So we're good so far. So let's check how our inputs coming from the board into the DBX are looking. Here's our input, and 36. Well, that is well below what we had metering on the board. So let's go around to the back of the board and see what we can find. Here's our main outputs, and lo and behold, right next to it is a level knob put there just for this purpose, to make sure you got the right levels going out, in this case, out of the board and into the DBX. We need more gain going into the DBX, so we're going to turn up this little knob right here. Let's see what we have now. Okay, we turned up the output level on the back of the board to bring the levels up more here into the DBX, and they are up some, hitting around 24, but it's -10 up here. So let's turn this knob up all the way and see where we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4. Focus, focus. Okay, it's coming in a little hotter now. It's kind of hitting the 12 at some points, like right there. but we have the output on the board cranked. Let's see if there's any way we can adjust on the back of the DBX, what kind of inputs it has. Sure enough, when we go to the DBX, it has right there a button, plus 4 dBu or negative 10 dBu V, which is like a pad. It adjusts for different types of equipment going in. So let's hit that. It was out and we pushed it in. So we went from plus 4 dBu to negative 10 dBV, actually it is. So after doing that, whoa, went really hot. And our levels are the same here on the board. But it went crazy hot on us, loud, and jumped way up. Now remember, we also turned up the output on the board on the back there. So let's readjust that again. So we got good gain staging between the board and the DBX here, because we do not right now. So now what we're going to do is going to reach back here to that output knob, the output of the board, and we're going to turn that down and work between these until we get a good level. 1, 2, 1, 2, negative 10 on our level here corresponds with 0 unity right here on the outputs. Now these are scaled like the input, so we should be getting negative 10 here as well, and we're still not there. I turned down that output on the back of the board a little too much. So let's turn it up again, just a little bit. See where we're at now. 1, 2, 3, 4, a little bit better. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, there we go. You can tell because this is graduated from negative 12 and then it goes all the way up to 6. But we're right there between 12 and 6. So we're right at around 10, same as the DBFS on the board right here. So we're good now. A little recap. We got our inputs good on this channel 1. We got fader 1 at unity. We got our master at unity. We adjusted our output back here for the mains. We also hit the pad on the back of the DBX, and we got us right here in the ballpark. So we have unity gain from our board to the DBX. Now our next step is going into the BBE MaxCom. So let's look at where we're at there. Here's our inputs, and that is definitely going in too hot. So what do we do there? We need it equal to the board and the DBX. So what this DBX unit does is it's engineered for powered speakers, and it does a lot of different jobs. So you got a compressor and limiter. There's nothing on the back of this DBX to control the output, so we'll use the compressor. As we stated earlier, we have a 10 dB difference between our analog and digital readings. Here's digital reading. It, if I get up here and where I should be on the mic, It's getting up around -10, just like it is on the board. And here we have the analog readings again, and it's getting above 0. So we need to bring the output of the DBX down. We're going to use the compressor. It's the only thing I can think of here. So let's turn the compressor on. We'll scroll over to where we have the gain and see if we can bring the gain down. It does allow us to do that. It does allow us to attenuate, so that's good. Let's bring it to -10 and see where we're reading here on, oh, we're hitting 11111, hitting around -5 to 0, popping up. So let's bring it down a little more because we want it to be nice and even. So it's going above 0 a little bit. So let's bring it down a little bit more on the DBX because we want 0 just like we have on the board. Okay, now we have -15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Little bit. Yeah, it's just barely tapping the 0 there, but I'm getting real close to the mic, so it's going a little over on here. So let's put this at -10 now. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Look at that. Nice. And we're coming out of this BBE and going to the speakers. So now we have unity gain. We started with bad gain staging because it was jumping all over between the different pieces of equipment. We got a good reading from the start on our channel right there. You can also see it here on the far left of these meters. We come here to these digital readings on the DBX, and it corresponds with the board. So we have unity gain all through the board. We have unity gain coming into the DBX. Our output on the DBX is -24. Our input here on the BBE is up around 0, corresponding with the board. So we had to use the compressor on the DBX to gain stage between it and the BBE. We brought it down because it was putting out too much signal strength to the BBE. It's just different pieces of equipment, different manufacturers, different specifications. So we compensated using the compressor to attenuate or bring down that signal coming out of the DBX, and you can see right there how it attenuated. And so the final stage, of course, is the speakers. On the back of the speakers, of course, they have level inputs. So you don't want to move your faders on the board too much and disrupt your gain staging. So you just use these input knobs. Technically, they are not volume knobs. They are sensitivity knobs for the amplifier, which is inside the speaker housing. So you can turn up the volume using those to suit your needs.